Okay, moving on to the other section. It's asking you to find the first three terms. So I need to find the value when n is 1, when n is 2, and when n is 3, using this rule. So my rule is saying I've got to do 4 times n and then add 2. So 4 times 1 and add 2. Then it'd be 4 times 2 and add 2. And 4 times 3 and then add 2. 4 times 1 is 4, add 2, 6. 4 times 2 is 8, add 2, 10. 4 times 3 is 12, add 2 is 14. So my first three terms would be 6, 10 and 14. Again, with a ratio question, you're best to draw it out. So I've got Holly, Lewis. Holly is first, she has 2 parts. Lewis has the 3 parts. And all together, their parts need to make 160. So I can see these 5 parts need to make the 160. So my next calculation would be to work out what each part is worth. 160 divided by 5 would be 32. So each of these boxes, each of these parts are worth 32. Holly has the 2 parts, so Holly would end up having £64, and Lewis, who has the 3 parts, would end up having £96. The trick for question 3 is getting them in all into the same format, so either all decimals or all fractions or all percentages. I'm going to make them all percentages. So to make this a percent, I times by 100. 2 numbers come over the dot, 35%. That's already a percent. 3 over 10 is a percent. Well, remember from last week, to get it to be a percent, I want it to be out of 100. So I'd have to times by 10, so it'd be 30. So that'd be 30%. Ascending order is smallest to biggest. Well, my smallest is 30%, the 3 over the 10. Next then is 33%, and the largest is the 35%, so 0.35. Question 4. This triangle you might have seen in science, the distance, speed and time. I always remember it by drinking stops thirst. So to find speed, I cover the S, and it's telling you to do distance divided by time. Distance divided by time will give me speed. The distance is 5. The time is a bit tricky because I want it to be per hour, and this is 15 minutes. Well, half an hour is 30 minutes. A quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. And a quarter as a fractional decimal, depends on what you're confident with in your calculator, as a decimal 0.25. 5 divided by 0.25 would be 20, so it's 20 miles per hour. Last question links back to the questions we were looking at last week, but this time I got the hypotenuse. I know the hypotenuse is 8. So instead of adding, like the song said, I've got to subtract for one of the shorter sides. So it'd be 8 squared take away 5 squared this time. So on our calculators, 8 squared take away 5 squareds would be 39. I've then got a square root 39, and the square root of 39 will give me 6.2 to 1 decimal place. So if you want to check your homework answers now, here is practice 4. Question 1 is 15. Question 2, 5x minus 20. Question 3 would be minus 7m plus 52. Question 4, 53.1. Question 5, 12 add 20, 32. Over to the other side. Your first term is 2. Your second term is 7. Your third term is 12. Question 2, Holly would have 80. Lewis would have 120. Question 3, 0.18, 19%, 1/5. Question 4, 14 miles per hour. Question 5, remember to subtract, and it'd be 10.4. Well done, 11V, keep up the good work.